Okay, welcome everyone and good morning. On behalf of SafeWater, I would like to thank you for being here. I understand that some of you have woke up really early in the morning because you don't live close by. So we would like to say that we extremely appreciate your presence at University of São Paulo. Although I've been working with SafeWater and in the UK for a few years now, I'm gonna pay this cultural courtesy and ask the excuse of my colleagues to switch to Portuguese, as it happens that I'm Brazilian. Eu gostaria de começar explicando um pouco o formato da nossa apresentação. Como o SafeWater é um grupo rico, não só em número de pessoas, mas organizações envolvidas e as áreas que estão presentes no projeto, é importante que nós temos todas representadas aqui, apresentando para vocês. Um dos motivos é que o que chamamos de Equitable Partnerships é o coração do nosso projeto. E um outro motivo também é que vocês consigam enxergar a complexidade que é o projeto SafeWater. Então, eu gostaria de começar fazendo um exercício muito breve, um exercício mental com vocês. Hoje, quando vocês acordaram de manhã e decidiram se juntar a nós para esse evento, eu gostaria de verificar se vocês tiveram água para escovar os dentes. E depois, vocês verificaram que não, na verdade, não tinha água disponível para escovar os dentes. E aí vocês decidiram usar o banheiro. Na hora de dar descarga, a água também não estava disponível. E aí vocês pensaram, tá bom, eu acho que eu estou com um pouco de sede. E aí vocês decidiram buscar um copo d'água. E também não tinha água disponível em casa. E aí vocês se disponibilizaram a caminhar para buscar a fonte mais próxima que pudesse providenciar um pouco de água para a sua casa. Quantos quilômetros vocês estariam dispostos a andar para buscar água? 10, 20, 15, 30? E aí, finalmente, vocês encontrariam água, e essa água talvez não fosse uma água limpa. Mas, na dúvida e na sede, vocês pegariam essa água de qualquer forma e retornariam para suas casas. Chegando em casa, vocês compartilhariam essas águas com seus filhos? É uma pergunta. E aí vocês conseguiriam fazer todas as tarefas domésticas e voltariam para esse evento. E, chegando aqui durante o evento, vocês começariam a sentir um mal-estar. E, de repente, uma dor abdominal, uma mudança de temperatura no corpo. E, para tudo que vocês se prepararam para estar aqui, entregar essa apresentação e, consequentemente, ao final disso, desenvolver parcerias que seriam importantes para a sua área de trabalho, vocês verificaram que teriam que abandonar essa oportunidade, porque vocês teriam que ir a um hospital mais próximo. Agora eu pergunto, quantas pessoas ao redor do mundo passam por isso todos os dias? Milhões e bilhões de pessoas todos os dias têm que passar por isso. E, apesar de todos estarem situados na área de pesquisa de água, muitas vezes a pesquisa acaba se distanciando do que é o real fator e os impactos socioeconômicos do fornecimento de água potável. Todos os dias nós temos 25% do mundo sem acesso à água potável. 1,8 milhões de pessoas usam uma fonte de água que é contaminada com fezes. E 1,5 milhões de crianças morrem ao redor do mundo por causa da falta de água limpa. E, por mais que todos os presentes aqui estejam extremamente familiarizados com esses dados, é importante para todos nós entendermos e relembrarmos o contexto no qual o acesso à água potável está inserido globalmente. Por isso que, em 2008, a ONU tornou o acesso à água potável um direito humano. Mas, dentro desse direito, é importante que sejam inseridas métricas para verificação se ele está sendo atingido de uma forma eficiente. Então, para isso, eles informaram que a água teria que ser segura. Primeiramente, ela teria que ser drinkable, o que seria potável. Aceitável, no caso de aceitável, é um ponto que é ligado aos beneficiários, à sociedade. Então, se a sociedade, eles entendem que aquela água, na verdade, os beneficia. Ela teria que ser acessível, portanto, nós não teríamos pessoas andando quilômetros e quilômetros para ter acesso à água. Affordable, então, de baixo custo, porque nós sabemos que aqueles com um poder menor de compra são os principais não beneficiados pela água potável. E suficiente porque nós acabamos sempre substituindo por uma outra fonte se nós não alcançamos perto de casa. E dentro a partir daí, mecanismos se formaram para garantir que a declaração não ficasse somente no papel e que ações já existentes fossem aceleradas e que novas ações fossem criadas para garantir o acesso à água potável no mundo. Dentre dessas 17 temáticas que vocês veem apresentadas no slide, o projeto SafeWater tem como foco principal o número 6, que é o acesso à água potável. Mas é importante informar também que, secundariamente, nós estamos olhando em reduzir a pobreza, providenciar bem-estar e saúde e, em adição, ter um equilíbrio de gênero. Mas o que é exatamente o projeto SafeWater? O SafeWater é um projeto de 4,9 milhões de libras, que foi financiado, o começo foi em outubro de 2017, e o projeto vai durar durante 51 meses, o que seria um pouco mais de 4 anos. O projeto é financiado pelo mecanismo de pesquisa chamado Global Challenge Research Fund, que é um mecanismo que é disponível através das agências de fomento de pesquisa no Reino Unido. O objetivo principal do projeto é desenvolver tecnologias de baixo custo para acesso à água potável. E, principalmente, inicialmente, nós estamos trabalhando com comunidades rurais no México e na Colômbia, mas a intenção é que seja expandido não só para toda a América Latina, mas também para todo o mundo. Mas, para isso, foi necessário identificar quais seriam os diferenciais do SafeWater. Então, o SafeWater, há um tempo, vem analisando todas as tecnologias que já estão disponíveis no mercado para que a nossa pesquisa ela fosse, de fato, relevante e que ela não duplicasse nenhum esforço que já foi efetuado mundo afora. Então, eu posso afirmar que, no momento, nós trabalhamos com tecnologias que serão de baixo custo para que as comunidades mais carentes tenham acesso, mas para que também as agências de gerenciamento à água, que fornecem tecnologias a uma escala larga, possam comprar essa tecnologia e poder distribuir de forma eficiente. Um segundo ponto é que elas sejam adaptáveis. Então, as tecnologias do SafeWater, no momento, elas estão sendo usadas em comunidades rurais, porém, elas podem ter também uma transição para comunidades como as favelas no Brasil, pois a infraestrutura ela é facilmente adaptada a cada casa. E nós sabemos que tem muita irregularidade dentro das comunidades que estão sendo trabalhadas. Ela é sustentável, pois reduz os recursos que são usados para a manutenção, consequentemente, tem uma manutenção baixa. Nós estamos trabalhando também com dispositivos inteligentes para monitorar a qualidade de água, e o principal diferencial deles é a resposta rápida. Então, hoje em dia, no mercado, existem dispositivos para monitoramento da qualidade de água, mas a média é de 24 horas para você ter uma resposta se a qualidade de água é aceitável ou não. Em adição, ainda, você precisa de um técnico para coleta mais rápida, você precisa de transporte, consequentemente, você tem um gasto mais elevado. Então, a ideia do SafeWater, dos dispositivos inteligentes, é que você tenha a diminuição desse recurso para que sejam conectados através de Wi-Fi, wireless ou uma nuvem, e você não precise de um laboratório para fazer a análise da qualidade de água. E eu acho que o mais importante no momento é que elas são desenvolvidas co-desenvolvidas com os usuários, o que significa que os usuários estão diretamente providenciando feedback no que seria adaptável e aceitável para a realidade deles. É importante dizer como que o SafeWater foi financiado. O Global Challenge Research Fund, ele é como se fosse um mecanismo de pesquisa que é providenciado pela FAPESP ou pelo CNPq ou por qualquer outra agência de fomento à pesquisa no Brasil. A diferença está no impacto social. Então, se você vê, geralmente, no diagrama, no slide, são todas as áreas que têm que ser consideradas quando você está escrevendo uma proposta de pesquisa. Você tem o que você vai fazer, como vai fazer, as parcerias que vão ser desenvolvidas, o contexto da pesquisa, os métodos utilizados e, finalmente, você tem a proposta. Mas, geralmente, nem sempre tudo que está sendo proposto é adaptável para a realidade dos usuários que vão se beneficiar da pesquisa. Então, o diferencial do Global Challenge Research Fund é que, através disso, nós temos um impacto. Então, o impacto é o coração de todo o projeto de pesquisa. E é exatamente nisso que o SafeWater está trabalhando. De forma bem breve, porque nós teremos todos presentes apresentando, eu gostaria de falar que esse é um esforço conjunto. A Ulster University, que fica baseada no Reino Unido, mais especificamente na Irlanda do Norte, ela lidera o projeto, porém, nós temos os esforços contribuintes da Fundação Cantaro Azul, que fica no México, do Centro de Ciência e Tecnologia de Antigua, que fica na Colômbia, da Universidade de Medellin, também na Colômbia, e da Universidade de São Paulo, aqui no Brasil. Por fim, eu gostaria de relembrar por que eu comecei a minha apresentação falando que SafeWater é um projeto extremamente complexo. Porque nós estamos olhando em todas as partes, todos os aspectos que são necessários para a adoção dessas tecnologias pelas comunidades. Então, nós temos um time de engenheiros, microbiologistas, nutricionistas, psicólogos, da área de negócios e temos também da área do direito. Por fim, eu gostaria de destacar 5 das nossas principais metas. A primeira é o desenvolvimento de tecnologias de baixo custo. A segunda é o desenvolvimento de dispositivos eletrônicos inteligentes para o monitoramento da qualidade de água. A terceira seria a intervenção e a análise de saúde e comportamento dentro dos beneficiários. A quarta é a parte de desenvolvimento de capacity building entre os usuários. E, finalmente, nós temos um trabalho de disseminação de resultados e também da área de análise comercial, porque é extremamente interessante para nós entendermos qual que é o potencial da tecnologia no mercado, mas não só o potencial, como que essa tecnologia ela pode ser compartilhada igualmente através de todas as instituições envolvidas no projeto. Para isso, é extremamente importante que nós entendemos que esses objetivos eles só podem ser alcançados através da transdisciplinaridade. Então, se vocês olharem em amarelo circulado no topo do slide, a transdisciplinaridade é um ponto que corta todo o projeto. E eu vou chamar o meu colega Mike Brennan, que vai explicar um pouco mais o que é transdisciplinaridade. Obrigada.
Good morning, and I'd like to thank the University of São Paulo for their kind welcome to us this morning. So we're very pleased to be here. My name is Mike Brennan, and my areas of interest are creativity and creative problem solving. It's also innovation and the management of innovation. I also am interested in entrepreneurship and knowledge management. So you'll notice from the previous slide that Vanessa showed that most of the investigators or researchers in this project are from engineering or science and so on. So I'm one of the few social science academics involved in the project. So one of the things about transdisciplinarity, it's a very long word. When I try to explain it to people, there's incredulity, maybe cynicism, and so on. But it's actually a very important approach to problem solving that people who are trying to tackle or address complex problems are increasingly looking to this idea of transdisciplinarity. And I noticed in the video that the university showed earlier this morning that the words interdisciplinarity and cross-disciplinarity were used. So an innovation within our team is this idea that we're trying to engage with this idea of TDR, transdisciplinarity. So basically what we're doing in the project, my remit is to look at synthesis projects, small projects that people from different disciplines and different stakeholders can work on that give alternative solutions to this complex water problem. So it is an interesting innovation that we're doing. So what we're trying to do is to understand the nature of the water challenge globally and in partner countries, because it's not an engineering problem. It's multiple perspectives on the problem. In fact, one of the reasons for TDR is a dissatisfaction that some of the solutions that come up from various disciplines don't actually work or actually don't work in practice. So that's why we're trying to go beyond that to these other areas. This is a definition of it. It's trying to look at things from multiple perspectives. And that is a challenge because if you work in engineering or in science, you have your own measures of success and quality. And suddenly, if you're working with other disciplines and with social partners, then that can be a real challenge. This is a very simple diagram. It's very complex. But if you look at the top left-hand corner, you can see that a problem can be defined as the white circle. And usually what you have is different disciplines address that problem using the tools and techniques that they have. On the bottom right corner, you can see TD, and basically it's trying to give legitimacy to both academic knowledge, but also knowledge that you find in the real world, that practitioners, farmers, societies, communities have as well. So it's trying to make sure that these two forms of knowledge, academic knowledge and societal knowledge, are both legitimate in themselves, and that's a real challenge. But it's this future for trying to solve complex problems. What we've done in our project so far is to identify 3 things that we think are important. One of them is service, and the idea that water is not a product. Water is a physical thing, but also human beings engage with water in different ways. Also, we found that enterprise and the idea of pursuing opportunity, looking at businesses, social enterprise, and communities working for themselves is a hugely important thing because they have ownership of it. So that's beyond engineering. And also impact. And impact is one of those terms where there's no definitive definition of what it is. There are multiple ways of understanding impact. And certainly in Europe at the moment, TD, or transdisciplinarity, is being used to try and understand how impact takes place beyond disciplines. There are real challenges in doing that. We've had many disagreements in the group about how you prioritize different things, and that's part of the academic debate and part of the debate with different partners in the group. I've said it's important. It really is becoming increasingly important. So you have some groups of water researchers in the world who are now publishing studies that take a TD, transdisciplinary approach. Here's one of them recently that we found incredibly interesting. Here's another one that's from Switzerland, talking about the water challenge in Switzerland from multiple perspectives. And here's one that we've got published recently. And what we've done is we've taken the experiences of working in TD in our group, and we've published this in a high impact journal, which we've been very pleased about. So part of our innovation is to contribute to our own capacity building in terms of understanding how TD, or transdisciplinary research, takes place and why it's important. Another member of our group has published in TD from our Coleraine campus. So increasingly, this is becoming much more important. It doesn't replace engineering and science. It augments or is an addition to that and allows us to challenge some of the assumptions that we have in our own discipline. So it's a very powerful but difficult approach, I think. So that's my presentation, a brief introduction. If you've never heard of transdisciplinary research, I would suggest it's worthwhile looking at. If you're doing a PhD, it's a very interesting angle and dimension to problem solving, and it's increasingly important in academia and also to demonstrate impact for people who are actually funding programs such as SafeWater. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Bom dia. My name is Pilar Fernandez. I work in Ulster University. Oh, I did your job. Yeah. So welcome, everyone. I appreciate very much this opportunity. I want to thank Lyda and the big team and the hospitality of these people here. And yes, I don't have much time. We have only 15 minutes. So Mike was saying, what is transdisciplinarity? I will try to show that I'm trying to follow the path. I don't know if I'm in the way. And when I say I mean our team for technologies in SafeWater. So what is the main hypothesis for SafeWater from the technological point of view? So the main hypothesis is there are technologies over there, they work, everybody knows they exist. We don't need a Nobel Prize to find solutions for these problems, but the solutions are not there. So you can blame politicians, you can blame money, you can blame all these complex contexts of rural communities and the world in general, but we need solutions. And the philosophy of SafeWater is let's bring what we know from the engineering point of view, put together, let's work together as a team and find the solutions. The solutions are were proposed many years ago by different people. Some are very simple, some are complex, some are really good ideas. And what is clear is that low-cost technologies can solve the problem of bringing or improve the water quality for drinking. But why is not in the place? Why there is not sufficient water? Why the communities have not the availability of this water? Why they have to do what Vanessa said at the beginning, struggle every day and have a miserable lives because they don't have safe drinking water. So let's try and do it from the engineering point of view. And I think that's important. So what is the real objective in SafeWater from the technological point of view is to develop low-cost treatment technologies and also water quality monitoring technologies that make easy this work. So treatment technologies, I'm sure if here we have all the audiences related to water, everybody knows what these technologies are. Filtration, UVC, ozone, low-cost handmade filters, active carbon, all is invented, okay? And what about the water quality monitoring? That's more challenging. It's not invented. There are many expensive methods, but they are not available or at low cost and at all not in the communities. So that's the challenge, to make something simple and something available for the community. And then try even be more ambitious, trying to plan a legacy for this technology to span their lifetime so they are available in the community so it's not a real problem for the community at the end of the project. So we don't have the typical example of a nice project that ends and then there is nothing left in the field. So these are the different objectives we try to cover. And here is the example of multidisciplinarity. We have biochemistry, we have chemical engineering, we have chemistry, different disciplines, social sciences, anthropology, business, everything is put together. Working like this is a pleasure, but at the beginning you don't know what you're doing because you have 30 people in a team. You have 3 languages. I said 2 because we had the privilege of having Lyda with speaking Spanish, but we have Brasileiro also. 6 disciplines, 5 institutions, 4 countries, and then in the communities we want to implement 217 prototypes. It's a big number. Just to show that the model works. Also, to work in 6 communities to explore different contexts. We have many meetings, we share a lot of documents, we are all the time talking, and it's like a big iceberg moving very slowly in the ocean, but we are moving, and we are going to the main target, the safe water, the providing water to the community. So what is, and you can say, okay, how do you do that? Because we know these technologies, how do you pick that? So we did an extensive analysis, but the first was how you go to the poor communities and rural communities with not many access to economical resource and technology, and decide what is the best. Of course, must work effectively. Effectiveness is the most important. If your treatment is very much accepted by the community but doesn't work or doesn't give the high quality, the same as we want for me, my children, and my family, I want the same for the community. So it has to be really, really effective. Has to be sustainable economically and environmentally, and of course socially accepted. So in this order, we work. But the number 1 priority is the effectiveness. Who said how effective, which parameters we look at, and who is controlling that? In reality, no one, but we have the recommendations of the World Health Organization, and we follow those. So we monitor and we try to target these 3 models of pathogens, a bacterium, a virus, and a parasite, and then we try to achieve the highly protected level. So that's the safe. When Vanessa showed the drop, that's the safe tick box. Okay, we know what we want. How much? Big discussions, months of discussions. What is too much? What is, some people say 2 liters, some people say 5 liters, and then you go to the UN and say, let's read word by word what this UN says about the Sustainable Development Goal. It means 50 liters per day per person, especially in a country where the range is so rich. It's miserable to provide 2 liters per day per person. So you have to be, the same as you would like for your own relatives and people, no? So, and the quality, of course. So the technologies we know that are very popular, and I have been working a lot in solar disinfection, or not in filters, but they are also very well known. We know what are their pros and cons. And the disadvantages is the heavily dependence on the user and the lack of efficiency for the whole picture, for the whole number of pathogens we want to treat. Of course, there are other physicochemical parameters, but these are turbidity and organic matter. Turbidity 0, organic matter 0, no color. That's the plan. So we will take care of the pathogens because they are the most growing concern, but the other aspects are also important. Okay? So, and if we look at the problem of how to measure the quality, there are different methods, and everybody working in the field knows that we have aquagens and chromocult and different methods, and some need labs, some need some kind of technical knowledge and sophisticated methods. We don't want that. Our team is developing, like what Vanessa said, very quick method that in few hours tell you, yes, you can drink it, no, you can't. And also the plan is to make, let me show, because the time went so quick. The plan is to do the field trials very soon in, let's say, start in 6 months' time. Now we are prototyping and making the first test in the field with both treatment technologies and also sensors for water quality. Check what is the feedback from the community, check if they are working at technical level the way we expect it, trying to follow the World Health Organization recommendations, and then to expand the study to these 270 houses in 6 communities and look at the impact, nutrition and health, behavior analysis, and the technological performance. So I think now is the moment for our different collaborators to present their technical or social contributions to this work package. So I hope it was clear, and thank you so much.
Bom, para fomentar a transdisciplinaridade, né, eu vou continuar em português agora. Eu vou falar um pouquinho sobre a Universidade de São Paulo. Então, é importante indicar a importância da universidade e o contexto dela. Então, a Universidade de São Paulo ela é uma universidade de grande porte. Nós temos mais de 5.000 docentes, nós temos mais de 16.000 funcionários, nós temos aproximadamente 85.000 estudantes entre mestrado de pós-graduação, incluindo pós-graduação e graduação. É importante destacar que a Universidade de São Paulo tem 8 campos. Dentro desses campos, nós temos, então, a Escola de Engenharia São Carlos. A Escola de Engenharia de São Carlos, junto, óbvio, com a USP, é importante destacar também que a Universidade de São Paulo, tinha esquecido de falar disso, a Universidade de São Paulo ela é catalogada, normalmente catalogada entre as 100 melhores do mundo em diversos rankings. Então, é uma universidade que tem uma boa infraestrutura de pesquisa e de desenvolvimento. Então, dentro desses campos, na Universidade de São Paulo, então, nós temos a Escola de Engenharia São Carlos. Essa Escola de Engenharia São Carlos, é importante destacar que o projeto SafeWater ele é realizado no Departamento de Hidráulica e Saneamento da Escola de Engenharia São Carlos. Nesse Departamento de Hidráulica e Saneamento, nós temos o programa de pós-graduação em Engenharia Hidráulica e Saneamento. Esse programa de pós-graduação ele tem a maior nota da CAPES, que seria uma agência de fomento brasileira. A nota que o departamento, que o programa de pós-graduação tem é nota máxima, é nota 7. Então, nós temos, é importante saber que nós temos bolsas, nós temos auxílio financeiro e nós temos alguns benefícios pelo fato de ser um centro de excelência acadêmica dentro do, considerando o Brasil, e também é considerado o centro de excelência no mundo. É importante destacar que, dentro do grupo da Universidade de São Paulo, na Escola de Engenharia São Carlos, nós temos 20 pesquisadores atuando. Então, nós temos, no meu caso, eu sou a líder do grupo, nós estamos trabalhando em 2 laboratórios, nós temos 2 técnicos trabalhando no grupo, temos 4 pós-doutorandos. Uno de los postdoctorandos já terminou as atividades, né? Já tem terminado as atividades. Nós temos também 6 alunos de doutorado, temos 2 alunos de mestrado e 5 alunos de iniciação científica, que seriam de graduação, sendo que 3 deles já terminaram suas pesquisas dentro do projeto SafeWater. É importante observar, né, o time como um todo. Então, nós temos aqui a foto, só para vocês olharem. Então, nós temos aqui, no meu caso, eu, né, os técnicos, nós temos os pesquisadores, os pós-doutorandos, os alunos de doutorado, aqui junto com o Wagner, porque Wagner também está fazendo doutorado no grupo. Temos os alunos de mestrado e de graduação, fazendo iniciação científica, alguns já finalizaram suas atividades. É importante destacar que o projeto, óbvio, ele é financiado pelo Global Challenge Research Funds, UK Research and Innovation, dentro do projeto SafeWater, mas o governo brasileiro também auxilia um pouco em relação a bolsas de estudos. Então, nós contamos com bolsas de estudos do CNPq, da CAPES, também temos bolsas para alunos de iniciação científica fornecidas pela Universidade de São Paulo, e a FAPESP também tem auxiliado dinheiro em relação a desenvolvimento e pesquisa dentro do projeto SafeWater. O trabalho aqui o trabalho do grupo da Universidade de São Paulo, nós atuamos em várias frentes. Então, trabalhamos na parte administrativa, na parte de gestão e coordenação. Trabalhamos fortemente também no desenvolvimento de tecnologia de tratamento de água. Também estamos auxiliando o grupo que está desenvolvendo prototipos ou dispositivos para avaliar a qualidade da água. É importante que também destacar que estamos trabalhando na parte de treinamento e fortalecimento de capacidade e também na parte de disseminação e exploração. Então, essas são as atividades do grupo dentro do projeto. Em relação ao tratamento de água, é importante destacar as pesquisas que estamos desenvolvendo. Então, estamos trabalhando com filtração lenta domiciliar, optimizando a coagulação e floculação, aplicando microscopia in situ. Estamos trabalhando com desinfecção, incluindo pasteurização solar e uso de peróxido de hidrogênio e desinfecção com cloro. E também estamos trabalhando no sistema MAR2, que é um sistema que envolve filtração em membranas e sistema de desinfecção por UV. E também trabalhando no desenvolvimento de metodologias de baixo custo para a detecção de protozoários. Então, finalmente, quais seriam as próximas etapas do grupo? Seria basicamente a construção, continuar a construção de prototipos em escala real, para que eles possam ser testados primeiro no laboratório, antes de serem enviados a campo, tanto no México como na Colômbia. Também continuar essa optimização de método de detecção de protozoários e continuar trabalhando na parte administrativa do projeto, na parte de treinamento, fortalecimento de capacidade e disseminação. É isso e obrigada.
Good day. I will present in representation of the Professora Margarita Hincapié. I know the Professora Margarita Hincapié. I am the team of the University of Medellin. First, talk about the university. The University of Medellin is in Colombia. Maybe you know about Medellin. Medellin is the second city in the country. It's a city that wants to be an innovative city. The University of Medellin has different faculties, has the faculty of law, economic and administration faculty, engineering faculty, communication, design, and basic science, and social and human science. We are part of the faculty of engineering. The University of Medellin team is integrated by different professors. The professor Margarita Hincapié is here, and Liliana Botero here, and Lyda Botero, and Lyda Galeano, and me are the Professor Luis Javier Montoya. All the team is part of the Faculty of Engineering, and there are different research assistants. On part of the assistant of the research assistant are engineers, but other are of different science. For example, there are a bacteriology. We have a social communicator. In the professor are biology, a chemical and chemical engineer, and me and I am a civil engineer, but specialized in hydraulics. And we have undergraduate students in bacteriology and in environmental engineer. The team of the University of Medellin is working in different areas. Working first, work in adoption of the technologies to the community. For these activities, we visit the communities, talk with the people, and do different surveys and different activities with the community to I want to get the acceptation of the technologies for part of the community. Second, we did a different analysis of water quality. We take samples in the local waters and get to the laboratory and do a lot of different analysis. In the Wednesday presentations show something about this activity. And we work in the development of different prototypes. We work with different universities, with the University of Sao Paulo, with Cantaro Azul, with Ulster University. We join together to construct a prototype and inside different aspects. It's difficult, this work, but it's very good because there are different perspectives, different disciplines, and all people talk in the same purpose, that is developing a good prototype for the people. And finally, we are working in the lab to optimize the prototype and work in compare different technologies. The next activity or the challenge to the future in our team is the construction of the prototypes. We have a prototypes and need to join all the parts and get put the prototypes in the communities. It's a great challenge for us. The implementation of the system in the field, monitoring the system, take measures month to month to verify that the quality in the water is good. Then really we are working with a prototype that guarantees safe water, and finally working with the community. We need to listen to the community and improve our prototype. It is all.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for University of Sao Paulo to having us here, and all of the group of SafeWater project. We are from CTA, that is a Science and Technology Center that is located in Medellin, Antioquia. That is a region that has developed many models and methodologies in order to appropriate science and technology in front of the communities. We have two words that is like a sacred, knowledge and sustainable. Knowledge in front of the importance of the academic and science in front of every thing that you maybe develop in front of the society or in front of your community, if it's academic or something like that, or in front of the territories and organizations that are our main purpose in front of our objectives as a center of science and technology. We transform realities, generating capabilities to knowledge. And the second word is sustainability. That is, for us, is very important. We have a relation in front of welfare that is as an object, as an objective for us. And we have three main areas that we are trying to integrate in all of our programs and projects. First of all, quality of education. It was a special topic, and when CTA was created 30 years ago, we specifically start with quality education. For Antioquia, that is an special region in Colombia because it's a leader in front of industrial development and integration of the society and the problems that we have as a city in previous years. Second one, value generation. We work with territories and organizations, but always looking for a value generation. And the third is sustainability, environmental sustainability. That is our main objective in our area, that is in charge of the activities that CTA develop for SafeWater, and in company of Catalina and the rest of our team in Medellin, we accomplish. We strengthen skills in the territory through solutions in education, solutions in water and environment, and solutions in innovation and productivity. We are, as a entity, and a special entity inside the ecosystem of productivity and innovation, inside a general scheme that Colombia as a government has in front of the science and technology, and our classification in front of this system is as a center of innovation and productivity. In front of SafeWater, CTA accomplish many activities, but our main challenge in the rest of the project are measurement of health impacts. This is a main challenge because there is this is connected with one of the main objectives of the project, trying to discover what's the impact in front of the health of the people. Second one, behavior of change in behaviors and social appropriation of the technology by communities. I think that this is a main purpose for CTA inside this program, because there is a big challenge trying to engage and to fulfill the social appropriation of the technology that we install in the communities. Third, prototypes. In front of the prototypes, we have a special assessment that is supplier identification, because there is a big challenge to install all the prototypes inside the communities, and work path definition for prototype implementation, because we have special communities that are located in rural areas, mainly without paths, and it is a big challenge trying to get and work in front of this challenge. And finally, to date, our contributors have resolved around approach for the control group, development of formats for information, gathering and behavior change strategy, family information gathering, supplier identification, that it is at this moment in front of the definitions according to the prototype Mark II, and finally work path definition for prototype implementation. As I previously said, that is the way that the prototypes goes to the communities and trying to appropriate this kind of technology with the people during the last months of the project. Thank you.
Thanks to everyone. thank you to SafeWater team and Sao Paulo team for your hospitality. Well, my name is Hector Castellan and I work in Cántaro Azul. Cántaro Azul is a non-profit civil association founded in 2006. We have the objective of contributing to improve the health and quality of life of people without access to safe water or basic hygiene and sanitization conditions, mainly in rural communities in Mexico. In Cántaro Azul, we believe all people deserve to develop to their full potential by living with good health and economic well-being as part of a thriving ecosystems, a fair society, and enriched culture. We dedicate ourselves to the fight of water because it is fundamental to human development. Working with water has given us the opportunity to impact each of its many dimensions through the combinations of all perspectives, experience, and skills which allow us to achieve significant contributions to the fight. We work together, we work throughout a participatory approach with individuals and communities to create comprehensive and holistic solutions that are appropriate for each local context. Furthermore, we collaborate with academic centers, government institutions, international organizations, the private sector, and social and civil society with the purpose of enriching our solutions. Well, what about our strategies? We, in Cántaro Azul, we develop and implement water, hygiene, and sanitization solutions in homes, in houses, schools, and communities in the country, in all Mexico. We develop and implement strategies of incidents and systemic change to reduce the inequality gap in the human right to water and sanitization too. We develop too and implement knowledge management strategies that allow us to learn and to improve our practice and those that have to be, that well, are in the sector. Okay, how does Cántaro Azul participate in SafeWater project? What is our collaboration to? Well, we work together in the low-cost technologies for treatment, for water treatment. We're working too in water quality device to be tested these prototypes in field for water quality monitoring. Where we are working together to design studies and to make mainly health and behavior change studies. And well, we are in constant capability and capacity building with well, all the team. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you to Lyda and all of her team for this opportunity to present some work on the project. As you can see, SafeWater is a very complex project. There are many different disciplines, many different ideas, many different people that are involved. But for us, that is not enough. We want to do more. We want to work to develop people and organizations. We want to improve the future for this area through developing capacity and capability. People and organizations, not just to solve this little problem, but to develop as leaders, to go forward and to solve more of these large challenges. So our approach to do this is to develop people, to develop their skills, their capabilities, not just in the technologies and in their disciplines, but to give people a broader focus, to help them develop skills in language, to help them develop skills in business and understanding how the water sector, water products all work together. So we have a lot of systems to identify the gaps in people's portfolios and help to provide training for those specific areas that they wish to develop in. And I liked very much the videos about the University of Sao Paulo because they speak about the need for multidisciplinary, for travel, to go and seek skills and to bring them back to the countries. So we do a lot of these visits with respect to travel. It's a pleasure to learn new languages, and it's great to hear some people, they practice, they speak in English as well, because it's very important as a language of science and engineering. Meet new people, eat new food, build new relationships, see some crazy thunder and lightning. From Ireland, I thought I had seen all of the rain, but no, last night was a new experience. We want to provide training for NGOs as well as academics, and we work with partners to try to identify within these organizations where we can provide some support and some help, perhaps through language, through leadership, or providing technical training. For academics, it's not so difficult. There's been many different pieces of work to establish this large sector driven approach to developing skills. Technical is only one little small part of this big cycle of skills that academics, that companies, that researchers should have. And that's what we try to work to develop. Everybody over the next few weeks on the project will complete some analysis to identify where they have personal gaps, and we will work then through some online platforms we've developed and in partnership to give those skills and to allow people to obtain those skills. Some of the training is provided by University of Ulster, some is provided by our partners, but we also look to the best in the world to help provide training. So 10 of the participants in SafeWater have undertaken an International Water Association course to receive a formal certificate and credit for achievement in the areas of water and behaviour change. And this is a very interesting one. These are free resources available to everybody that brings together over 1,000 different courses that you can register online, and you can participate in the areas of sustainable sanitation and waste management. So if you're studying here, this is an interesting website just to go and have a look at, because there are many courses that you can take for free. We also have training workshops. This time last year we were in Mexico, and we all enjoyed not traditional university lecture, but we were making prototypes with Lyda, all working together, developing our team working, learning to have respect for different disciplines and different people's skills. And here we have some examples of business people like Mike and social scientists learning microbiology. Yes, it was a challenge, but it's very important that everybody understands the need for these different disciplines to contribute to this big challenge. We also need to be very aware, not just of the geography and the political climate, but also the social climate and the culture that we work with. And from the UK, this is very important for us to understand how these devices will be used with the rural communities. And networking and team building is hugely important. If we can't collaborate and we can't work together, we will not be able to solve the problem. We've also met in Medellin and had more formal meetings that perhaps were looking at the project. But we also, again, went to visit the community. It's so important that we learn more about the end users for our technology. And we host many visits. I think we've had representation from every university to come to University of Ulster, not for us to teach people, but for us to learn from their experience. And this shared or this co-development and co-participation is very important to try to build our SafeWater community. Natalia, Hector and Armando and Bill have all travelled to share their knowledge and to develop their own personal attributes for their careers. Also, we work with many school children. I think it's well known that if you can train some old people, they will grow and they will distribute and tell many people about the project. I know from my kids, I get told about turning off the tap and about some of these basic things that I should know about. So we work a lot, not just with presentations, but we build different scenarios. So you can see we built a Mexican kitchen, a Mexican house, and we tried to show the school kids what life was like when they have no water in rural locations. And we also do the standard academic things to disseminate knowledge to our peers. So we look forward that during this workshop to expanding our partnership, to working with some of the friends at USP and developing more of our collaborations and looking for opportunities for further exchanges. So obrigado por ouvir. Vanessa, you've changed that. Sema un Pérez responde suas perguntas. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much to our guests from Ulster University, University of São Paulo, University of Medellin, Center of Science and Technology of Antioquia, and NGO Cântaro Azul. Now it's time for questions, and I ask Professor Lyda, please coordinate this time, okay? Thank you so much.
Ok, então agora a gente vai abrir espaço para perguntas. Então fiquem à vontade em relação a qualquer aspecto que desejem, digamos, de mais informações em relação ao projeto. Então está aberto a perguntas. Any questions?
Professor Dunlop, firstly, thank you for trying to speak a little bit in Portuguese, and I'll try to speak with you in English. The question, my question is about the relationship that you have with the communities. How can the approach to understand, to try to change the minds of them? Because the sanitation is not very clear in general for the rural population and so on. So, in terms of methodology, the tools that you are using is good, but I don't understand how you go to the community to start the work. Could you explain, please?
Thank you so much. I'm going to try to explain. I think that it's better in Spanish, so I will speak slow. So, en Cántaro Azul hemos estado trabajando por más de 12 años en comunidades rurales en todo México. Entonces, en cada programa, en cada proyecto, antes de ir y tener cualquier intervención con la comunidad, intentamos conocerla, intentamos visitarlos, e incluso para los dispositivos de tratamiento de agua hacemos un diagnóstico del contexto comunitario, un diagnóstico del uso del agua dentro del hogar y en la misma comunidad. Eso aparte de hacer análisis de calidad de agua y aparte, es una visita constante, ¿no? No es únicamente el desarrollo de los dispositivos, sino es importante para nosotros entender el contexto de las comunidades. ¿Cómo es el trabajo? ¿Cómo vamos directamente a las comunidades? Pues hay todo un equipo de trabajo, un equipo en campo, que incluso en las comunidades pues hablan las lenguas indígenas. En Chiapas son dos principalmente con las que trabajamos, Celtal y Tzotzil, que son regiones pues bastante marginadas. Y dentro del equipo de trabajo hay compañeros que hablan la lengua y que es mucho más fácil tener este tipo de intervenciones directamente con las comunidades.
Okay, I want to complete, or in addition of the Hector said, CTA is an organization that mainly work with territories and organizations. But in front of our work in territories, we are in permanent contact with leaders of the communities, and we are trying to always to understand what the people need. That's what I trying to explain in our presentation, that always talking about solutions. That is I think that is a clue in front of a communities, trying to understand what the people need and what we can afford, we can accomplish in front of this kind of necessities.
Eu queria só complementar, falando que por isso que é muito importante no processo de desenvolvimento do projeto, você ter certeza que você tem organizações que trabalham diretamente no campo e que já têm essa responsabilidade, essa experiência de trabalhar com as comunidades. É também importante falar que nós temos um time de psicólogos e acadêmicos na área de comportamento, que eles fazem toda uma análise de como será essa mudança de comportamento. Então, por exemplo, no Cantar Azul, eles já tiveram outros sistemas de tratamento de água que eles tentaram implementar no passado. Então, eles têm a experiência de saber quais são as restrições ou as barreiras pessoais de cada comunidade. Uma delas, por exemplo, a Anne, que trabalha no Cantar Azul enquanto ela esteve com a gente, ela mencionou que, por mais que eles providenciassem um sistema, a comunidade continuava pegando água da chuva e guardando dentro de casa. Isso é porque é parte do comportamento de ter medo de ficar sem água em casa. Esse é um ponto. Um outro ponto é que, como a gente lida com comunidades, algumas são indígenas, eles acreditam que a água vem dos deuses. Então, tem um ponto da religião que também está ligado. E aí, por isso, para você tentar informar e mudar a mentalidade de que não, essa água ela não está limpa, apesar dela parecer limpa, é bem desafiador. Então, por isso que nós temos NGOs que trabalham diretamente, que têm essa experiência.
Can I say just a little thing? You know, when we are developing the design of the prototypes and everything, every meeting we have CTA and Cantar Azul involved. Many aspects we never think would ever happen occur in the community. For example, the main concern in Chiapas is storage. I mean, of course, quality is important, but they are more worried about in the dry season, what if I don't have water? So they will put buckets and more buckets and more buckets in their houses. So we had to design something that is a big tank. I wouldn't never think that a big tank is necessary. I mean, a bit big, but not huge. But if they are gonna say, okay, your system is fine, but I will have my own buckets, then the study and the whole idea is... these practicalities, we never think about it until we have, yeah.
I think this is what makes the project so interesting, because as academics we assume that we have the answer, and that it's not the case. It's not suitable. We have technologies, we know how to make them very complicated, but that's not going to be a solution for this project. So as academics we find it difficult, but we do more now. We have to listen to the voice of the end user. We don't want to make a black box that will not be used. In this project, we want to make something that, with people, we want to co-develop and co-design the solution. It will lead to more important research papers than some discovery of a new technology nobody will use. So I know my PhD thesis, it sits on a shelf. What is the purpose of this really? It doesn't help anybody in terms of their daily life. And this project has been really important and really challenging to try to sit back and listen to the end users. The end users for us as academics are the NGOs that have spoken already. We have no remit, no desire to work personally with the people who will consume the water. That's not acceptable, it's not going to work. And when we designed the project, we chose specifically these very well trusted, very well experienced NGOs to act as our partners in the field.
Eu acho que nós vamos ter mais tempo para perguntas à tarde e nós temos palestrante que está esperando a conexão via Skype. Então, neste momento, nós vamos fazer intervalo.
Yeah, short break of 10 minutes, coffee break out there, and building with lots of mirrors, okay, and lots of wind, okay? It's more easy to identify. Okay, 10 minutes, please. Thank you so much.